Welcome to this new episode where we talk about thoughts, where we talk about those that most mothers don't even want to admit thinking. And I'm going to share about my own thoughts in early motherhood. I vividly remember them. And also thoughts that so many moms, so many clients of mine are thinking. And I really want you to feel relieved, a good enough mother, because I'm going to tell you what's going on in your brain, what's happening, why you are thinking them, and most importantly, what I want you to take away from this episode is that there is nothing wrong with you just because you have certain thoughts in your brain. So let's dive in. First of all, I want you to know about the human brain that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. So obviously, it's not all rainbows and daisies and positive, especially when we are talking about early motherhood or any phase in motherhood when you are struggling, when there are challenges, and challenges there are always. Obviously, you're not going to have only positive and great thoughts. So having negative thoughts, having bad or even scary or dark thoughts, in itself, it's not a problem. Okay. Having 60,000 thoughts a day also means, by the way, that most of these thoughts are recurring. We are keep thinking the same things over and over again. What it also means is that we are not even aware of many of our thoughts. That's why it's super important in mindset coaching that we really start with the client to bring to the surface what you are telling yourself. What is it that your brain make it mean? Because that is what we are coaching on. That is so important. Most of the times we are not even aware of our thoughts. And fun fact, coaches have coaches too. I need a coach to really reflect what I'm thinking, help me to see and mirroring back because I can be way too close to my own brain. So, mindset coaching, and this is not what I want to talk about in this episode, just for a fun fact again, mindset coaching is really around making you see your own thoughts. And then when you have this distance from it, that you are looking, you are the one who is watching your own thoughts, that is incredibly powerful. And this is kind of part of what I'm going to teach you in this episode because it's so important that you see these thoughts, whatever you are thinking of, however you think it's dark or I shouldn't think that, just as a thought, just a sentence in your brain. Because a thought is nothing else, it is an automatic sentence in your brain. It doesn't define you. And we are going to talk a little bit more about that because obviously you have to have the awareness and you don't want it to take over, like to consume you certain thoughts. But first, let me start with there are actually two ways that it can be problematic. So just having thoughts in itself, as I said, it's not a problem. We have about 6,000 thoughts a day. But there are two ways that it can become problematic. Number one is you are not aware of the thought at all. You don't have the awareness that you are thinking them, but they are coming back on repetition. Like this self-talk is really like in the background, like a background noise pulling you down constantly, whatever that is. And we are going to name these thoughts, some of them, but like it can become problematic because you are not aware what's happening. You can catch only by how shitty you feel, how depressed you feel. So most probably you have a really shitty self-talk there. You have this constant noise in the background. You are thinking this, but you are not even aware of them. And the second way how this can become really problematic is when you catch them, like you are very well aware, you catch them, and then you make it mean something terrible about yourself. So, what it means is that you catch yourself thinking a dark thought, a negative thought, and we are going into the exact thoughts. And then you feel ashamed and guilty on the top of it, like, oh my God, how could I just think that? Oh my God, a good mom never would think that. Oh my God, there is something wrong with me. So you make it mean something terrible about yourself and you beat yourself up for having that thought. So let me remind you that having a thought, it is automatic. A brain is just delivering, presenting that thought. It doesn't make it mean anything bad about you. Okay? So, how the universe works, and because I'm also mixing mindset coaching and unconscious coaching, let me tell you just one more time how the model works, how the universe works, how our thoughts are creating our feelings. So, there is the circumstance in in the world, everything which is natural, everything which is outside of us, and our brain is interpreting that. So our brain is having thoughts all the time about everything. These are our thoughts, automatic thoughts. And those thoughts, which we are believing, which we keep on thinking, are creating the feeling in us. And that feeling is fueling the action, what we are doing. And logically, that action is going to create the result in our life. So it's very important to see the power of your thoughts, because when you keep on thinking something, when you believe something, that is going to create eventually the result in your life. So when you keep on thinking that you are a bad mom, when you keep on thinking that I'm not good enough, when you keep on thinking that there's something wrong with me just because I want to have a break or just because I am thinking about having my old life back, that is eventually going to create the results in your life.